Me no can say, you decline my update say, Ghana, your Chief Justice, Balfour Bunny, he will not be able to serve for life like a previous sacked Chief Justice Tokonu and not any other Chief Justice. Why? Because the Constitutional Review Committee, they brought out a recommendation, say all new Chief Justices, their tenure should be capped at 10 years. And even 10 years, no, with 70 years, I was already it is not renewable one time. Now, I can say, almost also a suggestion by extending the presidential term from 4 to 5 years. And also, young capping ministers now somewhere 51 or 61. And also, EC boss no so yen FM no one time 10 years as after that untimi enkubi in same bebre. But me no can say certain people have started speaking up against this thing, saying say yen na baby fako. And francophobia, so I'm Constitutional Review Committee, no more Ghana for say yenye. They be and yes, sir. I was saying, call back to the people in a referendum near see should we extend the president's term, yes or no? Should we increase the Chief Justice term, yes or no? Should we increase or make the EC boss tenure 10 years or not, yes or no? Referendum. But then you francophobia no matter yes, at the end of the day, no. According to Professor Kwesi Prempeh, who is the chairman of the presidential committee, I say, Nyama be bracey, but then, engagements, I can say, a queen kakra, inti in summer or the tuja.
Within 3 months.
Initially. Initially. I think our pointers were quite ambitious in thinking that 3 months would work. And in fact, that we immediately let them know that was not doable. So initially we settled around like 7 months. We were appointed at the end of January, so effectively starting in February. The reason why our terms of reference could not be read the way you assumed was the part asking us to talk to key stakeholders. And who are stakeholders when we're talking about the Constitution? But the citizens of the country. This Constitution was adopted by popular referendum in 1992. If you are going to change it in any significant way, you will have to go back to the people. Many of these things require that you go to a referendum. Some require that you go to the people's representative in parliament. So when our understanding of key stakeholders were essentially talk to Ghanaians again, right? And in the intervening period between 2011 and now, what we also reckoned with was that a lot has happened. A lot of water has gone under the bridge. As of 2011, we had not even had a single election petition. In the period since then, we've had 2.
Correct.
As of the time the report was presented, we had not had the experience of even a president dying in office and triggering the processes for succession. We've had that experience. These are all constitutionally significant developments, right? We had not had a hung parliament. We have since had one, and how it affects governance. We have never experienced, sovereign bankruptcy, and we've had one. There are provisions on finance in the Constitution that would be impacted by that experience. Provisions on a number of experiences, and even in our region,
cataclysmic experience
in our
so
region, right? Yeah. Exactly. And look at what's happening in our region. The return of coup d'etat, right? It's something in the background, but if you follow the chatter around it, if you follow the youth reaction to these things, democracy is on the ropes again in the region.
There's been the discussions about democracy backsliding.
Yes. So you have to take on board these developments that have happened since the first big report came. And then, of course, a new generation of, and when that report came, I think we were calling them millennials. Now we call them Gen Z, right? This is a new communities of, citizen activists using social media in very different ways to engage. So you cannot disregard these intervening developments and say, we're just going to lift this off the shelf and just sit down and read and harmonize and that kind of stuff. So we read our terms of reference, and without disagreement from our appointers, actually, because we did go back and say, look, you've been talking about a national constitutional conference. What exactly do you mean by that? And this is our understanding of it. This is how we think we will proceed to do that national engagement. And they said, fine, that's actually consistent with our thinking. So we didn't really stray from our terms of reference. Where we needed clarity, we went back to our clients and said, are we aligned on this one? This is how we are proceeding. And
the National Constitutional Conference will suggest to me that your appointer had in mind, of course, the first of the terms is look at the previous work that's been done. So your appointer had in mind, we need you to aggregate. The work is almost done. Just bring people together to one conference and sort of validate, and let's move on.
That's one interpretation. The other, which we said, we offered was, look, we want to disaggregate this national conference into a series of zonal engagements instead of bringing, citizens to Accra, which would mean essentially an assemblage of elites again. We would rather go to where the citizens are and engage them as the national conference, right? So we disaggregated the national conference into 10 zonal meetings. And we said, this is our approach. Is it aligned with your thinking? It says, absolutely. That's fine. That's one way of getting to the same end.
Okay.
So that's how we actually manage our terms of reference.
Actually, for some way a buy and a month we pray kasa. But then this year maybe a year men kaim yaw East Legon accident BC a man but Frank etwa me no se miensa e hye East Legon sali for mako ne ba no edeka e race ya na so cool speed odeka kuku microphone no sanse na me no cause citizen bi abi raise concern say ye chichi nkofo ni ade. But and then no sasali for mwako in the Bani case no. Have you forgotten about it? Obisa say na air cost na obisa sa question because now no Ibrahim Mahama ne mbanom ne president formba omo organize a car show. I'm kwalankitin ebim 20 years. Most of them were seen driving. And obisa say ebim more license and I say even if they have lines, we are encouraging this form of lifestyle. It's the gon film races near their day. Ebia ne kun nkofo abepene intimi enhu anupum intimi enya anupum asebre intie insama this particular concerned citizen or the two.
We were all in this country when Saleh Amako's son drove recklessly, took a car from the house, drove recklessly and killed people. In fact, they burned to death, including children. All right. Now, I think eventually this boy was tried as a juvenile and confined to some Bostal home or something, right? But we've also been in this country where children have been tried as adults because of the crimes they committed, right? And jailed in adult prisons. But because this boy is whoever he is, his father is whoever, so-called bishop, nothing has happened. Just bust out home. I'm sure he's out. I'm sure he's out. He's gone cry. And the parents who gave him the car to, it seems nothing has happened to them. I hear they were charging somebody for something. We not hear anything again, no, Attorney General. The father is now there posing with a Rolls Royce, flexing on social media. Meanwhile, people's children have burned to death. Right? But nothing has happened. And it's not like the boy, it was his first time. We've seen videos of him where he was driving. Before that video, there were other videos. He was driving and recklessly and speeding on the streets. So he's a foolish, reckless boy. Eh? And nothing has happened. But tomorrow, somebody will steal a goat and will jail the person 20 years. Judges. See. You push on your eye, oh. Attorney General, that matter must be recalled and handled properly. They pay me pass as they demand the flex on social media with Rolls Royce. They pay me rough.
In the same way, and as our power attitude, Obisa said, what is really happening? This concerned citizen Obisa said, what is really happening in regards with this particular case? It is something which is very serious. I was there myself for the vigil. and then it was a sad scene. No one will want to lose Nedisha in such a way. In fact, think about it. Would you be able? But the first example, free eshe. God. In fact, I spoke with one of the relatives, and our chairman said, "Accident ni sina neba ne te back seat. Into the 9 share a year. Na ote other side. On the driver need you to me pay. But driver no, ne nchen no passenger seat na front row no. Ni chino na neba ne te ho. Inti ade ni si ye na akwande ka na epem ye no man 9 share front row no seat na se inti 9 lock ewo ho because dade hu say seat na push it up inti lock ye no na amwa ka no so amwa no akotale ho inti ntimi mpie inti ye try say ye twi ne pie bra ka no burst into flames no ni ntimi ntwe no na sister ni 9 shower unlock na ejika yi so eja tom hey. And we need that hope now shit. In fact, jai. And a movie and bofre ya shit. And some of the videos need pictures in Timamba, but most of you really saw. Yin kwale ya se sebi a buebia ya totono. I could chana ton. Yeah. And then on sense no Ghana for baby by we have short memory in ye refi. Yankupon enfa a yes ambo free or mokra NCE. Because no one will want something like this to happen. Obisa say what should be done. Even though or no, you see a bit jailing, and said any update about this particular issue. And Obisa said in some no, a see ho and a see say ana. These are questions at the end of the day in Obisa. We are also hoping say a buying and as will be OT. Baby be a found because these are issues and are way near man and we say see even though abofrano in question on your charge no and say the no control in Kwalaboni school near there but still now you and the fact say na say in Kwalankiti or mutiti Rolls Royce munia there the HTT car sports car or organized sports show near there these are the billionaires or muku momba into if they are supposed to take over lifestyle we normally be take over ayo and obi tonium. We live to see. Ya ni bia sebio ye nan ni ye ka yi de oye den koka se okonfo na seko sa pepe. Therefore ye beto aso ne akọ other issues also because they are clearly niema bebre o ho a was see timi ka ho nsem right here on this particular platform at the end of the day no issues e wo ho no e wo se ye ka ho nsem.